We are back, and we are better than ever.
I don't know about that.
Feels like it's been a long time since we've sat in these chairs here.
It does. I feel like I don't know how to do this anymore.
We recorded a couple of episodes. We were over at Engage Conference with Fellowship out near Tampa. Had just a great time with all of them. And they were very encouraging to our family. You know, we were there to pour into the people who were there, but they really ministered to us.
They did.
And our whole family got this cool thing. They gave us the girls some gifts and some gift cards and stuff like that, and just loved on our kids. But then Tuesday of the conference, they made a free day. So we didn't have anything until the evening. And they gave us a choice of the aquarium, Zoo Tampa, or Busch Gardens. And we chose Zoo Tampa and just had a great time at the zoo.
We all love the zoo.
Well, it turns out that if you buy any ticket, I think the only ticket they have available is good for the rest of the year. So now we can go to the zoo. Every time we go to that side, we can go to the zoo for the rest of 2023. And it was like this awesome blessing.
It's amazing. We're so thankful. It's a gift from God.
Highly recommend Zoo Tampa at Lowry Park, though. If you've not been and you're over in the Tampa area, well worth your time. We saw some amazing animals and just had a great time.
It's a great zoo. And now we're ready to start episode 128 of the Family Meeting Podcast, and we're going to get this recorded and get this out to you later today.
But listen, we need you to go right now and sign up for Relationship Refresh, July 21st and 22nd, 2023.
Yes.
You need to be investing in your marriage, so it's a great opportunity to do that. Plus, you can come down, you can go to the Disneys, you can go to either coast within less than 2 hours and hit the beach, or check out Zoo Tampa while you're in the area.
That's right.
Put that on your calendars.
All right. Are you ready, babe?
I am ready to roll. Gather round, everybody. It's time for a family meeting. The Family Meeting is a show that's all about family relationships. We're the Osterkamps. I'm Thomas. This is my wife, Llama.
Hello, and welcome to our family.
Watch out, she spits.
I'm going to spit on you.
Ugh.
Welcome to episode 128 of the Family Meeting Podcast. On today's episode, we're going to discuss family personality tests. This is a super fun one. I'm very excited about this episode. Are you?
I am, yeah. Before we dive into it, though, I want to encourage people to jump into our Facebook group that we have. And one of the things that I really like about the Facebook group, every week we've been posting couples conversations.
Yeah, I like those.
And we throw something out there just to get you into having a conversation with your spouse. And this week, the conversation is all around gifts that you give to each other. So we went to get our passports renewed yesterday. And while we were standing in line, we had our little couples conversation surrounding the gifts that we've gotten each other. So jump into the Facebook group and be a part of that conversation.
Yeah, it's really fun. So here's what we did. Talking about our episode today, personality tests. Each member of our family took a personality test, and we are going to share the link with you of the test that we took. It's 16 personality types, and we each took the test, and then we shared the results in our family meeting.
Well, and it turns out Lysandra has all 16 personality types.
I'm scary.
At times, she has multiple personalities.
Of course, he's lying.
Literally, my life is split. I'm like, is this Patricia this morning, or who is this?
Whatever. It's usually the beast.
Send Lysandra out. I want to talk to her today.
I only had one personality. Okay. So, you always get me all like off course, and I never know what's happening. Okay. So, talking about the personality test. Focus.
It was
family meeting.
It was fun.
Yeah, the family meeting was fun.
Although I honestly, I wasn't too excited when Lysandra first suggested the idea. For one thing, she went and found, just looked up personality test online, sent a link to all of us. Yep. We go through, take the test, and then you get to the end and it's like, hey, to see your results, pay us so many dollars a month. And I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. And then a second one
did the same thing.
So I was like, okay, I'm done with this for the day.
Yeah, with Thomas, you just can't be doing that kind of stuff to him.
So
He's not going to go for it.
she did find one that was
Yes.
absolutely free.
So let me just say, I am not a researcher. Some people love research. I hate research. I don't think it's fun. And so I did not do the research before I started the whole personality test. I was like, we had a family meeting and I was like, let's do this. I'll pull up a thing right now, send it to our group chat. So then once I had failed twice,
Spend 20 minutes taking a test.
I decided I would do some research and actually find one that was free. And we did. So we've done that research for you, and we will put this in this link in the, what is it, the episode notes or whatever.
Show notes, yeah.
Thank you. And that way you guys can have, this personality test that is actually free. And it is a fun exercise.
But it's good thing. It is a good thing to spend a little time to know and understand each other. Obviously, as husbands, we are commanded in Ephesians chapter number 3 to live with our wives in an understanding way. And I personally like the way the King James puts it.
I do too.
It says to dwell with your wife according to knowledge. Mm-hmm. So you are to know your wife. As a husband, that is a command that's been given to me. It's a command that's been given to all of you husbands who are out there listening. I just can't figure out my wife, or you can't figure out women. Listen, women are not actually that complicated.
Thank you.
Once you know them, everything they do is different. The way they think is different, yes. But I don't think it's that complicated. And so it's just a matter of taking the time to really study and learn about your wife, to know her. And that's really true of anybody that we really want to love in a great way, is you have to study them, you have to know them.
Right.
And if we're really going to help somebody, and that's what we've been called to do as parents, right? We've been called to raise up our children so they can become adults who go out and impact the world in a positive way. Emphasize positive way.
Right.
But in order to take them from where they are and help them to get to where they need to be, we really need to understand the best way to lead them and the best way to interact them, the best way to discipline them, and all of those sorts of things. Well, this is one of those ways that you can get to know your kids better. And obviously, it's a man-made test, right?
Right.
And all of our kids are different. Each of us are different. And so don't treat the personality test like it's the gospel. Right. But it's a great way to start a conversation. Mm-hmm. And really, that's what we want to encourage you to do, is have the conversation. And this is a way to talk about the ways that we are different, how we're created, how we're wired. And it really gives us a framework for how to have that conversation.
And what we recommend to you is take the personality test in one family meeting and just discuss like taking the personality test and what was it like, to answer the questions and stuff like that, things that were hard to answer. And then have a whole separate family meeting to share the results, because sharing the results can take a great deal of time.
Yeah.
And so we recommend having this become two separate family meetings. It will be a little bit more pleasant for everyone.
Especially when you have 6 in your family.
Yes, we have a big family. Now, we did have benefits in that some of our personality types matched up, which means we only had to read that personality type one time rather than 3.
So out of the 16 personality types, we have 6 people in our family. Our family represents 3 personality types. So there was 3 that had the same, 2 that matched up, and then 1 that was on an island all by herself.
And did any of that surprise you?
No, not really.
Me neither. Not really.
So let's talk about who was what.
Okay.
So first of all, what was yours, and who, if anybody, matched up with you?
So mine is Consul. That is who I am. That's my personality type. And Abigail and Violet, our 2 youngest daughters, matched up with me, which was no surprise.
Yeah.
How about you?
They're little minions for you. I'm an adventurer, which is not a surprise. And Isabella matched up with me.
No surprise there.
And
We always, in fact, Isabella was laughing because I think it was just it was like the night before we talked about him.
Literally the day before, yeah.
And I said, "Oh, you're so much like your father. You're just like Daddy." And I never say that in a negative way, like, "Oh, I hate you the way I hate your father."
Yeah.
But just like, it's amazing how much they are alike. And I try to say it in a positive way, but we were just talking and laughing about that the day before we had our family meeting, sharing the results, and there they were, adventurers together.
And then Catherine was on an island all by herself as the lone defender.
Yes, except for we added Coconut, our dog, into the defender because anytime someone comes to our home, he barks
defends the home.
So Catherine and Coconut matched in their personality types.
Exactly alike. He answered all the questions exactly the same.
It was amazing. Yeah. So we're going to go through and just share a little bit more about what these personality types that we received in our home were and what they represent and everything. And just talk about how we can use that to better our family relationships. Because that's what the family meeting is all about. It's all about investing in and developing your family relationships. We care about you. We care about your family. We care about your interactions. And we also feel the same way about our own family. Our families are worth investing in. And so this is one way we can do that. So we're going to start with Catherine, who was all alone, just her and Coconut, as the defender type. So Catherine is introverted, and we knew this because Catherine, she will be the type of kid. I remember the first time that this bothered me.
Sorry, she just set her coffee on the table with the computers and microphones, and I'm just waiting for her to knock that over.
He stared at the coffee. And I was like,
I didn't hear a word you were saying.
I picked it right back up. It's almost gone. If I could just take a real quick chug. Everybody give me just 1 second.
Everybody loves to hear you drink on the podcast.
Coffee's gone. Everything good, babe?
Yeah, we just lost half our listeners.
Okay. So, Catherine is introverted. And I remember the first time that I realized she was introverted and it upset me. Because I'm such an extrovert and I wanted her to be one too. But it was when she was very young, probably like 8 or 9. And we had all the cousins over and a bunch of extra friends as well. And all these girls, everybody's having a great time, dress up Barbies. I mean, it's just all out awesome at our house. And I couldn't find her. All of a sudden I found out she was like in her closet sitting by herself. And I was like, why are you in the closet?
Like,
all your friends
weird.
are here. Yeah, this is weird. This is weird behavior. And she said, I just needed some alone time. And I was like, what? This is weird. And then I realized, oh, Thomas is an introvert. I do know what introverts are like. That's what this is. And so I knew she was going to be introverted, but I'm actually a little bit surprised by this. She was only 66% introverted. Yeah. So she's kind of more middle of the road. And she does love people. She loves having people over and interacting. But she needs that alone time. And we try to give it to her when she needs it. For observant, she is 66%, feeling 68%, judging 67%, turbulent 72%. So really, Catherine is she's not extreme in anything here. She's kind of more middle of the road, which is kind of interesting because, like, I know for mine, I was like, I'm extreme in everything.
Oh, yeah. We'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll get to that. So a little bit of what we want to tell you about the defender personality.
Yeah, just hit a couple of highlights.
There's a lot on here, so we don't want to take up too much time. But defenders help make the world go round. They're hardworking, devoted people, and they feel a deep sense of responsibility to those around them. Defenders can be counted on to meet deadlines, remember birthdays and special occasions, uphold traditions, and shower their loved ones with gestures of care and support. But they rarely demand recognition for all they do, preferring instead to operate behind the scenes. Definitely Catherine.
So one of the things that is talked about and all these come as you take the test, all these come with strengths and weaknesses. And one of the things that defenders have to watch out for, and this led to a very interesting conversation with Catherine, is when she sees something that needs to be done, she'll just go ahead and do it, not necessarily ask for help or anything else. And because of that personality trait, people like that can can be taken advantage of.
Yes.
Where others will just kind of sit back and let them do all the work. And so that was something that, hey, you've got to understand that this could happen, and we've seen it happen in our home. And it was almost like, as we're reading through this, it was like, oh yeah, that totally happens around here.
Yeah, and it was funny because the day before we had the personality test family meeting, Catherine and I had a conversation because I came home from work and she was doing dishes, and I said, "Thank you for doing the dishes. You don't have to do them every time. We need to get the girls to help you." She said, "I don't mind doing dishes. I like it. I just don't like it when I have to do it all the time and I feel taken advantage of." And I said, "All that takes is a quick text to Daddy and he'll assign it to someone else." And she said, "I know, but I don't always want to do that. I like the way I load the dishwasher." It's so funny. And all of these things were coming out in the test, that saying that her way is the only way to go and her way is best. Talking about how people can take advantage of you. And of course, we were just having that conversation. So we talked about that in our family meeting. And what the girls heard then, the girls said, "Oh, so what you're telling me is if I just don't do something, Catherine will end up doing it and I can take advantage of her?" And we had a good laugh over that.
Yeah, it was literally like, that's the exact opposite of what we're trying to get you to see. Like, don't take advantage of your sister and just let her do all the work.
It was fun, though.
It was really funny.
Yeah.
So that's just a little bit about the defender there. Let's move along and talk about the adventurers here, because me and Isabella are the adventurers, and we're both pretty high introverts.
Yes.
So I rated a 78. She rated a 73. And so we need a lot of time, alone time, to kind of recharge. We've got to work ourselves up to do a lot of people stuff. In fact, Lysandra and I were just having a conversation this morning on a walk about our schedule for Sunday, because obviously we have church on Sunday. That is a high social function. It takes a lot of energy. And then Sunday night, one of the things we're doing is we're having a neighbor night, and we're inviting neighbors over just to spend time with them, just to get to know them and connect with them. And so that's two really high social events in one day. And Lysandra's like, "Hey, what do you think about having this certain family over for lunch
On Sunday?"
Somebody I've never met before. It's actually the parents of this dude who is interested in one of our daughters. And
You speak with such disdain.
so I'm like, let's not do the lunch, because if we have the high social thing and high energy thing in the morning, and then have to do the high energy, high social in the evening, I really have to have time to recuperate from one and get ready for the next one.
And I'm like, "Oh,
So
I wanted to do it all at the same time." But I have to understand, he is introverted. He needs that time. He has to recharge. And I'm really thankful that he is communicative. And he tells me, I need that time to recharge, because as an extrovert, I don't fully understand it. And I don't know where the boundaries are. So it's really helpful that he tells me about that.
one of the things I thought was interesting but not surprising is that my assertiveness was off the chart. It was 94 out of 100.
Why does that surprise you?
I said it doesn't surprise me.
Oh, okay. Right.
So I pretty much know what it is, and I'm going to do it. But here's what really surprised me, and it shows the change that has taken place in me over the last 20 years that we have been married. The correlation between thinking and feeling.
Right. Those are the two options, thinking or feeling.
So, it used to be literally totally thinking. Like, I was not concerned with how people felt or any of those sorts of things.
You were probably like 98% thinking, I bet.
And in taking the test after so many years, I'm actually at a feeling 52 and a thinking 48.
You have crossed over to the dark side.
I really have. I'm literally like, I don't even know who I am anymore.
Listen, all that I'm hearing is, women, you can change your husbands. It can happen.
Either that or the Holy Spirit could do it. But
I would like to give credit right now to the Holy Spirit.
You've gone a long way in helping me learn to empathize with people, to the point now where I do think about how what I'm going to say is going to affect people and all of those sorts of things. So that was kind of surprising though to see. That was the one that really jumped out, where it was like, oh man, I can't believe I changed that much.
So you and Isabella were very similar in a lot of your numbers, but she's much less assertive than you are. She's only a 54% assertive, so she is not going to maybe push forward on different things, and she's going to be more go with the flow than you are.
So I want to share with you just some of the strengths here of us adventurers. And I did not come up with this. This is what they're telling me I am, okay? So they say us adventurers are charming.
It's true.
They're sensitive to others.
Not true when we first got married, much more true now.
Yeah, definitely. Imaginative.
Very true.
Passionate.
Yes.
And that's true. Curious. Artistic.
Yes.
And so it was interesting to go through theirs, and we won't take time to actually read through all of that stuff because you can do that for yourself.
Yes.
Because some of you really love this kind of stuff and you'll dig down deep into it, and some of you are like, I don't really care.
Now Isabella is very artistic, and she loves to try new things artistically, and she is very good with painting, drawing, sketching, graphic design, all that kind of stuff. And you are an excellent graphic designer.
So here is some weaknesses, though. These are things you got to watch out for. They are fiercely independent.
Oh my.
Which is absolutely true. And
true.
Understanding that though, I've had to work and be diligent about developing a team mentality. They're unpredictable.
That is so true. That's why I have to have a go bag packed.
Which I think is funny because it's literally the exact opposite of your personality type.
Yes, it's very difficult for me to live with you, but I love you.
This one is not true of me. Easily stressed.
No, you're not easily stressed.
But I could see that maybe a little bit in Isabella. Overly competitive.
Yes, both of you.
Which is off the charts. Yes. No more Monopoly in our house.
Nope.
Thank you very much.
Not allowed.
And this one was not true of me either. Fluctuating self-esteem.
No. Your self-esteem is pretty high and it stays there.
Yeah. Which I could see a little bit in Isabella, but part of that is like, is that personality part, or is just part of that being a teenager and
and being a girl,
all those sorts of things. So that's us adventurers. We're unpredictable. We love adventure. We love spur of the moment stuff. We're
artistic.
Yep. We one of our positive things is we just go with the flow, whatever happens.
Yeah.
So that's it's got some good things.
Yeah.
But having the conversation about who we are and helping us to understand Isabel a little bit better, and the girls to understand Isabel a little bit better because of her personality type goes a long way.
And it definitely helps me to understand you better. I mean, I feel like we had these epiphanies earlier on in our marriage. I'm so thankful we did. It was helpful. But just to understand, like, I want the plan and he hates the plan and he wants to change everything into spontaneity. In fact, we did an episode on being spontaneous.
Yeah.
And so you can go back and listen to that episode and hear how we have dealt with that. Because we literally have things in place in our home to make it possible for him to be spontaneous. Simultaneously, I am planning.
She plans ahead for the spontaneity. And that's how that works.
We've figured this out. But before we figured it out, it was hard. It was really difficult for us to operate together. So learning these things can really help you guys. We encourage you to do this. All right, let's talk about
the consuls.
The consuls who are taking over the Osterkamp home.
Oh my gosh, we are overrun with them. This place is stupid with consuls.
Okay, so that would be me and Abigail and Violet. We are the consuls. Okay, so first of all, we are all extroverted. Abigail, Violet, and myself. But this is what's interesting. I am the most extroverted, which is 88%.
Yes.
No big surprise. I actually thought that number would be higher.
Me too. I really thought it'd be in the 90s.
Me too. So you learn something, right?
Maybe you've changed over the last 20 years.
I know that I have changed because I used to cry when I was completely alone, which was very, very rarely that I was ever completely alone. Now when I'm completely alone, I do have a sense of, like I have that, and I've never had that before in my life.
Yeah, because I remember I was traveling I think I might have come down to help Ryan with something.
Yeah.
And then you took the girls to a birthday party, and you literally sat outside that person's home in the car and called me and were crying.
Yeah.
That you had zero idea what you were going to do.
I didn't know what to do.
For the next couple of hours. I'm like, it's a couple hours of freedom. Like,
Yeah. And I was like,
this
I
is a
don't
beautiful
want freedom.
thing.
I need my children. I need you. Who am I going to take care of? But now I don't feel that way at all. I do feel a little bit more freedom and relaxation. So that has changed. Abigail was only 60% extroverted. And Abigail, what we're going to find is she is very middle of the road on everything.
That's what I found interesting about Abigail is where she landed on the numbers was really close to center. Very even keeled, very well balanced,
Yeah.
which I think will help her in life.
Yeah. And we had talked before about whether or not Abigail was an introvert or an extrovert. And so it did not surprise us that she landed toward the middle on that, because she loves to be around people, but she also wants to be a homebody and have quiet time at home. So there's this kind of in between.
And there's times where we'll be watching TV or a movie with the family or whatever, and all of a sudden we realize Abigail's not there, or even at lunch.
Yes.
Or dinner sometimes.
Yeah,
it's
she
like,
sneaks away.
Where did Abigail go? Where's Sugar?
So we have to tell her, like, you need to ask permission to get up from the table. This is our family time. You need to stay while we're eating our meals,
But she'll wander off by herself.
Yeah, she just likes to be alone. But she also loves to have friends over and really enjoys people. Violet is 71% extroverted. I thought that number would be higher.
Yeah, me too.
We are all observant. I am the highest of the observant, 70%. Abigail's 55%.
All right, let's judge.
67%.
Let's go to judging.
Judging. I didn't like judging because everybody was like, "Mommy's so judgy."
Yeah.
In our family meeting, I was like, "I am not judgy."
Tell him how high you are.
I don't want to.
All right, I'll tell him. So this is out of 100, okay? So 100 is the most you could possibly be between judging and what's the other side of that coin?
Oh no, I can't remember. Because I don't remember.
Oh, well. Anyways,
Sorry.
it's
We'll have
out.
to look it up.
It's out of 100. She's a 96 on judging, compared to Abigail was a 51. Violet was 53.
I'm very judgy.
So I mean, you talk about the fun we had last night in our family meeting when we got to talking about mommy's judginess.
Yeah, but the judging doesn't actually mean like I'm judging people. It's more of a sense of this is the right way to do things, this is the wrong way to do things. And I have a very high sense of like the way things should be done. And right and wrong. I have a very high sense of right and wrong, and right is right and wrong is wrong.
So the opposite side of that coin is prospecting. And those individuals, this is what I am. I was 81%. So I'm like not judgy. They're good at improvising and adapting to opportunities. They tend to be flexible, nonconformist, who value novelty above stability.
Right, and I'm the opposite.
Where you value stability and you think that what you view as stability is the only way, the right way.
Yes, the plan. Stick to the plan, people. That's why we have plans.
Yeah.
So I'm all about that. It doesn't actually mean that I look at people and judge them, because I do not. I absolutely do not. I feel like I'm having to defend myself. I want you to agree with me.
No, but just the terminology they used was hilarious. So
Yeah, and the kids really attacked me on that.
it made for a great family meeting. Because one of the things about your personality type, this is for all three of you, is you'll often fish for compliments.
Fish for compliments and take things personally.
Yeah.
So then everybody's telling me how judgy I am, and I'm like fishing for people to tell me I'm not.
Yeah.
It was spot on. Now, assertive, this is where I've changed, babe. I believe you have had a huge impact on me.
Yeah. So whereas I change with the feelings, I would say your biggest change is in the area of assertiveness.
I have been so passive and timid in the past, and now I am 92% assertive. So I will speak up.
Which is huge. You never would speak up. You'd let people just walk all over you and everything else and take advantage of you.
Yeah, I was such a doormat.
I'm so proud of you that you have found your voice.
Thank you, babe.
And we're gonna have to help. We're gonna have to help Violet with that a little bit.
Yep, because she is not at all.
She's not assertive. She's a 51 to 49.
Yep.
And she's on the level. So
Yeah. Okay, so real quick,
Talk about some of the what are the strengths of the consoles?
the strengths.
Yeah, let's hit the highlights of the strengths here.
Excuse me, sorry about that. Okay. Consoles are excellent managers of day-to-day tasks and routine maintenance, enjoying making sure those who are close to them are well cared for.
Which is so true. I mean, that is all three of you in a nutshell. Mm-hmm. Like, you're constantly making sure that everybody else is having a good time.
Yep. Strong sense of duty. People with the console personality type have a strong sense of responsibility and strive to meet their obligations, though this may sometimes be more of a sense of social expectations than instinct drive. Yes. And that's
Intrinsic, yeah.
intrinsic drive. Thank you. Yeah.
So and you think about that, the social aspect of it, right? And how that really drives. You will often do things because you're concerned with how everybody else is going to take it or perceive it. How many times do I say? Because you will talk about certain things, and I'll say, "Well, who cares?" And what do you always say?
I care.
Yeah. She comes back with "I care," because that social is so high on your personality that's a motivator.
Mm-hmm. Very loyal, valuing stability and security very highly. So eager to preserve the status quo, which makes them extremely loyal and trustworthy partners and employees. Consuls are true pillars of any group they belong to, whether it's their family, community club. People with this personality type can always be relied upon. And I know that it talked about in the description about like that consuls are the glue that holds the family together and makes sure that like traditions happen and stuff.
The pillars, it said. I remember that.
Yeah, and that is so me in like my family where I grew up in. I'm the one who's like, okay, this is what we need to do for Thanksgiving. We need to make sure we get this on. Like, who's going to do this? I'm going to do this. What are you going to do? And like organizing all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I think about who you are as a person. I can always count on you for whatever. And I absolutely love that. And that's why, that type is often as the kind of the pillar of the family, the church, the whatever, talks about even in the workplace being that pillar, because just so loyal, you can count on them. They're faithful. They're going to be there.
Mm-hmm. Sensitive and warm, helping to ensure that stability. Consuls personalities seek harmony and care deeply about people's feelings. That is me. Being careful not to offend or hurt anybody. Consuls are strong team players, and win-win situations are the stuff smiles are made of. Yes, I want everyone to be a winner.
And I think most of your family is like that, where it's just like, maybe not your brother, but most of the family is literally, and we talked about this before, the difference between Lysandra and I and how we view games. And I'm like, I want to win. It's all about winning.
Yeah.
And your family was like, we just play games to have fun. And I'm like, this is stupid. We shouldn't even be playing then.
You want a loser. As much as you want to be the winner, you want there to be a loser.
Yeah, because I want to win.
I don't want any losers. Why can't we all win together and smile and be happy?
Doesn't work that way.
Good at connecting with others. These qualities come together to make consuls social, comfortable, and well-liked. Consul personalities have a strong need to belong and have no problem with small talk or following social cues in order to help them take an active role in their communities.
Which is so true. And that's one of the things where you have helped me, is the social cues and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Worried about their social status. So now we've moved into weaknesses. These strengths are related to chief weaknesses, their preoccupation with status quo and influence, which affects many of the decisions they make, potentially limiting their creativity and open-mindedness. Inflexible. Yes, I am. By nature. I try to work on this. Consuls place a lot of importance on what is socially acceptable and can be very cautious, even critical of anything controversial. Outside of the mainstream. People with this personality type may also sometimes push their own beliefs too hard in an effort to establish them as mainstream. Reluctant to innovate or improvise, so me. Just as they can be critical of others' unusual behavior, consuls may be also unwilling to step out of their own comfort zones, usually for fear of being or appearing different. Vulnerable to criticism.
Oh, most definitely. Yeah.
So we are too needy sometimes and too selfless. So they can oftentimes establish their value with doting attention, something that can quickly overwhelm those who don't need it, making it ultimately unwelcome. Furthermore, consuls often neglect their own needs in the process.
So one of the things we talked about in going through this process is understanding each family member better. So when we look at half of our family falling into one category, especially this one, one of the things that the other three, Catherine and I and Isabella, and probably more me and Isabella than even Catherine, because Catherine also has that, like, she lands on that more thoughtful side of the personality types. But the consuls can be taken advantage of because, remember, social is a huge motivator for them. So in understanding that, I could use that against them, use them to control, to manipulate, and that often happens with that personality type. So one of the things we want to do is seeing and knowing, hey, three of our family members have this. We need to be really sensitive about the things that we say, which we're supposed to be thoughtful about what we say anyway, but really mindful of the words we're saying, positively and negatively, because those words affect so much. But we've talked a couple of things about what surprised you, what surprised us about this. Anything else that sticks out to you that you would say that was surprising?
No, not really. I think we covered it all.
All right. So
we went through.
What about anything that you just assumed about each member that maybe wasn't correct?
I thought that Catherine would be more introverted. So I assumed that she would be more introverted, and it's kind of interesting to find out that she's more extroverted than she is introverted, right? Or no, she was more
60-40.
Yeah. So that kind of surprised me and was an assumption that was incorrect.
Yeah.
How about you? Did you have any assumptions?
Not really. Not that I can think of.
But it really has helped. It has helped to be more thoughtful and considerate toward each child and toward Thomas. It really helps to understand them. It's amazing. It's really, truly amazing the difference just simply understanding someone can be. It helps when he is spontaneous, or when he does want to have this like great vision and dream of this great thing. It helps to understand that's who he is. This is how he's built. And, it's not necessarily going to destroy all the plans.
Yeah, exactly.
And so it really helps to live together in harmony, just to simply understand each other.
But it was kind of fun to go around and have the kids read off their results and go through each of the personality types. And it was literally like we were all reacting so over the top because it was literally like, oh, that is so you. Yeah. Like that
we're
totally
laughing.
happens. And
yeah. It was a fun family meeting.
But really taking some time to understand each other. And I love the fact that we are all created so uniquely. Like all of our kids are different. Even the ones with the same personality type, they're still so different. But that helps us to understand how we should be interacting with them best. And so taking the time to sit down and go through this, it does take a little bit of time, but it's a worthwhile effort. Anything that you can do to get to know a person in your life better, especially your immediate family, because that is the focus of what we talk about here on Family Meeting. It's literally in the title. But it's a worthwhile venture. And there are a number of different personality types that you could take, and they all categorize everything a little bit differently. Some use like animals, and you can be a gorilla or a lion or a skunk or something. I don't exactly know, but it is interesting to see where everybody lines up.
But so, we do really encourage you to do this exercise with your family.
So we want to talk about Family Meeting tonight. All right. And here's what we want you to do. Can you guess it? Take a personality test. And as we mentioned, we'll leave the link in the show notes to the one that we have taken. It's absolutely free. It can be done on your phones, which is nice. And you can have the results emailed to you, or it'll pull up on the website itself. And so that's probably going to be one meeting, depending on the ages of your kids, where you're going to walk them through.
If your kids are little, you might have to help them answer the questions or read them.
But you're going to walk them through how to go through this. And then what you're going to want to do is you're going to have another family meeting that is where you just take turns sharing each family member's results. And go through and read, all right, what is this personality type all about? What are the strengths and the weaknesses of this personality type? And this is where it got fun, is where we had a conversation about, hey, what surprised you? Did something surprise you about the results? And we've shared some of ours. Talk about, hey, what wasn't a surprise at all? What was like, that was so evident. That is you spot on. Or maybe there were some things where it's like, no, that doesn't really line up with who you are in that personality type. Talk about what you've learned about each family member and how it will help you to be more understanding of each family member. And so that's one of the things that we did, is we kind of went around and said, okay, based upon the information that we learned about each other, or really spotlighted about each other tonight, based upon our personalities, what do we need to do because of that? What's some steps we need to take? For some, it was, we need to be a lot more verbal in encouraging them. For some, it was, we need to be quicker to step up and help out with the chores and the work and the other things. For some, it was like, hey, we need to give them a little bit of time and space to catch up and recharge. For others, it was, we need to make sure we give them plenty of opportunities to be around people. And so just taking some time, how you can use the information that you're finding out and spotlighting about each other to love better, to help them grow and mature and become what you want them to be.
If your children are still very, very young, go ahead and just do this, mom and dad. Husband and wife, go ahead and take the tests and talk about it. And then just have it filed away for when they're old enough to be able to do it. It can be a real blessing to your family.
Well, and I think even just having a conversation between the two of you, because we do have some listeners that have some younger children, but even if they're toddlers, you can start to see little signs of who they are. And I know one of the things for us that was fun for us when our kids were young is talking about what you see in them as far as these different things. So it can be a fun and interesting conversation.
Yes. Thanks for joining us today, everyone. Please go and subscribe to the Family Meeting Podcast from your favorite podcast provider. And if you found this information to be helpful, please share this episode on social media and invite your friends and family to listen in with you.
To find more content and information Lysandra and I provide, you can go to our website, familymeeting.org, or email us at info@familymeeting.org. If you'd like to shoot us a text or call us, you can send a voice message at 904-257-3062.
And we want to invite you to join us for our next family meeting as we talk about being authentic in your marriage relationship. A marriage is your most valuable earthly relationship. You should be more authentic and real with your spouse than with anyone else. And we're going to talk about how to do that and the benefits of it next week.
Thanks for joining us today for this family meeting. Have a great week, everybody. This meeting is adjourned.
That was a weak high five.
That was so weak. So we want you to take the personality test and drop it in the comments there. Tell us what your personality is. What type did you fall under? Where are all my adventurers at? Because everyone knows the adventurer is the best type. It is the best personality. We are so charming.
Yeah.
And everything else.
Wait. One of the things that
Fun.
it said under the adventure type is it said that they were humble. And all of us erupted in laughter when we heard that Daddy was humble.
No, but yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yes.
But
No, it's not.
one of the things about yours is you don't like fun.
Yeah, right. The console hates fun.
Yeah. Destroy your fun.
Yeah, that's my life.
And I'm the fun one.
Yeah.
So we're fun. High five to all of the adventurers out there.
High five to all the boring, keep life going. Oh, we didn't tell that Monica on Friends is a console.
Totally.
Which was hilarious because he is always like, stop being a Monica.
Yep.
And it came out in the test.
Totally.
I am a Monica, but now so now I know Violet and Abigail are.
That was one of the fun things about the test is it gives you famous people that have the same type as you, and then like famous characters from movies and TV shows
Yeah, it was very interesting.
as well. So it was fun.
Thomas is Britney Spears.
Yeah, hit me, baby, one more time.
Oops, you did it again.
I did.
We are such losers. Oh my goodness.
Speak for yourself. I'm an
gotta get off
adventurer,
this.
so
We
I'm
gotta
not a
get off.
loser, but we'll see you next time.